how your BFFs are lowering your man's interest in love and commitment. That's what we're talking about tonight. Very important stuff. And it's not to impugn your BFFs. No siree. I'm wondering, I want somebody to say hello because I want to see your comments. Hi there. Good to see you over on YouTube where we are and on Instagram and Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, this is, hello, good to see people joining. That's what we want because we have a community here that is going to help you to really get a full scope of how you get the love and commitment you desire and deserve. That's what we're all about, what I'm all about. And if you don't know me and you are new to one of my videos and you just happen to be here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'll tell you who I am so you know what I'm about. I'm Coach Paula Grooms, a dating and relationship coach for women, licensed social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. I help you find a Mr. Right, get an ex back, or grow an existing relationship with a man you truly desire so you create the relationship of your dreams and you level up to the complete commitment you totally deserve. So this video, I'm going to start with a unique conversation. If you know him, I really didn't, truth be told. He is a comedian and a podcaster, and Theo Vaughn, and he has Tony Robbins with him. And this discussion is going to be about him. It's very vulnerable and lovely, very short. And then we are going to parlay it into the important part, which is what you may be doing with your BFF or BFFs, women in your life, can be harming you and hurting you. Theo Vaughn, good. Other people know him. I'm so out of it when it comes to pop culture. Yes, you can blame me, guilty as charged. Don't know much about anything pop culture. But this is a really lovely discussion, and I think it's going to be easy to parlay into what we are talking about tonight, and then we will get to Q&A. So before we start, if you'll do me a favor and hit that like icon so that you give it a thumbs up, that can be really helpful. Let's bring him on and get into this discussion, and we'll get started, and then we'll do Q&A. So here we go. It is, again, with the wonderful and famous, probably as famous as in the space of self-help, which I'm pretty familiar with, Tony Robbins.
And I think I've had other people call in our show that have talked about that.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I feel like I almost feel like there's a disconnect. Like it doesn't even land on me, or I feel like maybe if I feel like I'm proud of myself, like if I actually feel proud of myself, it'll go against some script that I've always had written or some.
That's what they're talking about. Him feeling proud of himself, and he's getting kind of a mini coaching session from Tony.
Some thing that was always written inside of me. It's like it's almost like it wouldn't, if I wrote on the wall of myself, I'm proud of you, it wouldn't even fucking show up on the wall.
What emotion would you feel if you saw that?
Like what emotion would I feel if I saw what?
I'm proud of myself. Would you go bullshit? Would you say be pissed off by it? Would you be annoyed? Would you just
no? I think I'd feel ashamed of myself for even thinking it.
That's interesting. And it produced an emotion in you just now, even when you just thought about it. I saw that flash in your eyes. It's just a little bit of water, a little bit of fluid.
Oh, yeah, dude. Fuck, we cry on here every week. Sorry, dude.
That's beautiful.
No, it's okay. But yeah, we don't have any shame about that.
No, you shouldn't. But I'm saying liquid leaving your body in a public place, as long as it's through your eyes, is not a problem.
That's what I'm talking about, huh? Yeah, don't ask.
That's right. But my point is, there's a real anchor for you there. So let me explain it to you. Everybody has what I call an emotional home.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch like a place here, and let's say, where the cyclone happens every 2 or 3 years and it wipes out everything, or a tornado comes through?
Oh, yeah.
And you see these poor people, all their stuff's all over the ground and they're picking it up, and you could have a heart of stone not to feel. They rebuild. 2 years again, it happens again. 2 years later, it happens again. Some part of you eventually goes, why don't you move? It's like, why don't you move?
A lot of Vietnam's like that. It floods. New Orleans is like that. It floods.
New Orleans like that. So here's why don't they move? Because it's home. It's what they know. We have an emotional home. We have certain emotions that got built up in your youth. I had 4 fathers. I had a mother that was pretty intense. And I had a lot of emotions that came out of that experience. If I didn't reprogram myself, I wouldn't be sitting here with you today, because my emotional home was not good feelings. It's what I was used to. So even though it didn't feel good, you go there because it's what you know.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. So
yeah, it almost felt like I was deserting myself if I felt good about myself, which is crazy. I'd almost feel like I was leaving. I don't know. Yeah, it's almost like I know those feelings.
No, finish that thought. I'm leaving what?
Well, it's almost like I feel like I know those feelings of not feeling good about myself so well that I don't want to leave them alone, because we always had each other. And it was like, if I leave them, if
have you ever had a friend?
If I leave them, I won't, I don't know. Does that make sense though?
Yeah, it does. You won't what?
If I leave them, I'll just be letting them down, and they're not even real, but they're some part of me inside of me I can't even access. They're like his brothers.
That's right. They're your home, brother. Yeah. And by the way, I really appreciate you being so vulnerable, because the people watching there, seeing that, allow them to be vulnerable, because you're a role model of that. It's because you're funny as shit, but to be able to be that vulnerable is beautiful. But let me just tell you something. Those are not your friends.
Yeah.
And you're not going to abandon those parts of yourself. You're going to find these other parts of yourself that need to be in charge. It's not to say that you can't have negative emotions or fears or feelings, but the ones that don't support you, you got to break that pattern. And the way you break the pattern first is you start to see, you get a new experience. If I get you an experience where you feel like you actually felt proud of yourself without those feelings, and there was no sense of loss, and I did that with you for days and days, you'll never go back.
Wow.
Because your brain will go, what the F? I'm not going back to that bullshit. Those weren't my friends. It'd be like, it's like having a friend that beats the shit out of you every single day. And it's like, I'm letting him down if I don't want to beat the shit out of me, right? It's like, oh no, I got to be there for him, because I got to be there so he can beat the shit out of me all the time, right? Yeah. That's pretty much what it's happening.
Crazy to hear, dude. You're like, damn, here we go again.
And so then what happens though is the reason you went for the antidepressants is it's so overwhelming that numbing at least feels a little less. I'd rather see you cry and feel the pain, even though I want you to feel pain as a brother.
Yeah, no, I'm grateful to feel it. I want it out of my system.
That's right. Yeah. But the next step for you is drawing a line in the sand of how you really want to feel. So I'll have people in the event write down, I give them like a minute. I go, draw a line down the middle, write down the left side, all the positive emotions you feel in an average week, not once a year, not once a month, the ones you regularly feel, whatever good feelings.
The average emotions in a positive week?
Positive. So what are some ones you feel in a week?
In a week? I feel
at least once a week.
Okay. Any emotion?
Positive. Start with the positive.
Positive.
Empowering emotions.
Hopeful.
Okay.
Thankful.
Yeah.
Loving.
Yeah.
And maybe some pride.
Good. And so the pride is sneaking in. Now that's not ego pride. That's pride of like, you're growing.
Well, I'm learning about pride. I mean, it's like I said, it's really hard for me to feel proud of myself,
yes. So stop saying that.
Okay.
Because every time you say that, you're rewiring it back into your body over and over. It's a story. Yeah. It's like there's an old phrase that says, tell a lie big enough, loud enough, and long enough. Sooner or later, people believe it. You know who said that? Hitler.
Oh, I think you were going to say Fauci.
Well, same difference.
But yeah, I didn't know it was going to be.
We're aligned on that one, brother.
You're a quicker thinker than I am.
So, some funny stuff there. I want to talk about this in terms of how you not only are talking to yourself, but talking to your friends. And this is what I mean about your BFFs, your best friends, sister, mom, women in your life that you are talking to about the men in your life or men in your life or the issues you are having, and how that reinforces in the programming what the negative is and actually propagates it. He is talking about that in terms of Theo's actual feelings about himself. And we can use both the feelings about ourselves, but generally, which it's different for men. And that's what's interesting to see two men talk in this way. It's an unusual thing. And generally, men, if they're not in a space like a podcast or some other forum that is where they are given kudos for being vulnerable, they generally are not with each other in the way that we are with women. Interestingly enough, that can be a good thing in a sense. But again, if not getting it out, like Tony was saying, rather you get it out in terms of your feelings than hold it in. However, we as women tend to more, and studies have been done on this, it's not just me saying it, ruminate on the negative rather than go towards the positive. And we can get into a loop with our best friends of the negative. Type yes in the comments if you've done that with a woman in your life. Could be your best friend, your mother, your sister, anyone in your life that you tend to get into the negative loop when you are talking, and especially related to men, dating, the negative sides of dating or men or relationships. If you haven't, that's fantastic. But if you have, what I want to present to you tonight is to break that pattern, because what we focus on, we get more of. So it is the same as our negative thoughts. Angel says, yes. Yes, yes, absolutely. I have. And I still can do it. I still can do it. I catch myself now much better, and I stop it and I thwart it. And actually with really good friends, you can say, you know, I want to focus on the positive. I want to only be thinking positive things and talking about positive things. You know, we are human. Many times we want to relay something that isn't going well. It's consoling to us as women to go to a friend and to talk about what's happened. But you need to put a time limit on that and switch it. Switch it in the conversation and say, you know, I am focusing, and I am statement, I am focusing on the positive here. I'm going to focus on what did I learn from this? I'm going to manifest, right? Or I am manifesting what I want from this situation. You can ask a friend, what does she think about, how do I turn this around? Sometimes asking the right questions for her, and then she'll start asking you the right questions. What do you think? But you want it to definitely be a back and forth about the questions related to, how do I get out of this loop? How do I move through this and past it if you're stuck? So if you're saying, I am stuck, we want you to get into patterns with your friend. And again, I'm going to preface this with, I have coached a lot of women who actually find themselves getting into more of a negative loop with a friend, and I've worked with them to do more self-soothing, whether that's, whatever it is for you, writing, listening to music, moving. Moving is seriously helpful. You want to start changing these patterns for yourself to make the changes you seek to experience. We have to propagate and start the changes. So it's actually having conversations with your friend about, hey, I'm making it a point. I am making it a point. I am making this change for myself. I am starting a new path for myself and starting to make new pathways in my brain towards the positive. I am becoming more positive. I am focusing on the positive. Every day I am taking stock of what is positive about my man, my relationship. I mean, think of how it could change how you view what is happening in your even situationship. Even that. If you focused on the good that was coming from it, rather than focusing on how he's not committing, how he's just doing XYZ. I don't hear from him. He just calls me when he wants. He just texts me when he's bored. He just uses whatever time with me to do XYZ. When you realize and really take stock of all the time in your mind that you are wiring towards the negative, reinforcing the wiring, because really we are wired, we all know this, we are wired towards the negative, the negativity bias. We, as the human animal we are wired for that, to be most cognizant, most aware, most stimulated by what is negative in our world, our awareness. That's pretty shitty, but it's true. So we have to do a lot to override the negativity bias. That's why starting our day with what's going to be good today? What am I making? I am. What am I making great today? And then on your way to sleep, what went well today? So you start the day with what am I making great today? And then what went well today? It can be really small, but taking stock of it actually starts wiring our brains more towards the negative. It's a practice. Just like if you're doing yoga, Tai Chi, whatever it is. If we don't practice, we don't tend to get good at it. And what we can tend to do, and why the title of this tonight, is we can tend to have our friend that is our place to fall and just let it all hang out and be more towards the negative. And that is easily undoing all the other good stuff. Anyone agree? Think about that. It's super important to take stock of our conversations, broaden our awareness. Same thing about automatic negative thoughts. My live here on chats, go to that one. Filling your mind on your downtime with the positive stuff and less time talking about anything that is veering from your goals, what's new and you are attempting to do, what you want, is actually reinforcing what you don't want. Each time we do it, it's another reinforcer. And if you watched, and you were here on my live about prediction correction, how we are what the human form of AI. We are incredible prediction machines, but we are predicting according to what has occurred in our life. That's how we make sense of the world. How we've done from the time from the time we came out of the womb. Yes, we were a blank slate, but we were being programmed then, and then we continued to do it from the environment. So you see how much it takes to think about it and override it. Theo there is doing it himself with the not so positive thoughts about himself. Men don't tend to go to other men with it. But we can help our children override the negative thoughts. Very important. That's a gift, giving someone to do that. And certainly with our BFF, it'll take just a little tweaking and maybe an agreement you make to, it's come into my awareness that I'm honing in on the negative stuff that's going on with my man or in this relationship or whatever, or I'm talking too much about it and fostering the negative. So, I'm going to ask you, can you do me a favor? Every time I'm getting into that loop, will you stop me? We say, Paula, you're doing it again. Hey, great. In other words, if she doesn't want to do that, that's fine. This is not about you changing your friends. When Theo was talking about his friends, putting air quotes if you're not watching, Tony was referring to his ants, automatic negative thoughts about himself. Automatic negative thoughts, ants, crawling around up there in your brain. And he had them. Even though very successful, everyone struggles in one way, shape, or form with this because we've all been babies. We've all been programmed much more towards the negative in our subconscious mind. This is not conscious, but we can change it and must, and it is the only way we can change it is from the conscious mind. Actually putting the positive thoughts into our subconscious mind. So it's a thought for you to think about, have some agrees, and yes, great. It's really a wonderful thing for you to do, to focus on. Make a pledge. Make a pledge. Even just for this week, I am going to put a positive spin on whatever I'm talking about. You might have to look for it because, again, you have to override the negativity bias that is in us. Because someone was putting it this way when they're talking about the negativity bias, which is in us as humans. You see, when we were in the wild, the human brain that we have is wired for sounds, visuals, sense, because we think about how vulnerable we are against a lot of animals and stuff in the world and the elements. We had to sense danger coming from all around. So we are still wired like that, even though we're in the modern world, and virtually, it's very small portion of the population, or very small percentage of our life, like really, I mean, teeny tiny, that we have been in life-threatening situations. But our ancestors were in life-threatening situations daily. Think about it. Probably why they only lived till 30. That was old. But seriously, it's how we're wired, and we have to override it to make the most of our modern world life. And it works. Manifestation works for your man, for the relationship you want. And while you're doing it, it keeps you in a very positive mind frame that feels a lot better while you're allowing for it to unfold. That's pretty huge. I do the work, the real work. Not an influencer, not just a YouTuber, somebody on social media, but I actually coach women weekly, doing the work. There is nary a day if I'm not talking to a client, like literally in there doing the work. 3 ways, my 3-pillared approach for getting the relationship that and the love and commitment you desire and deserve. It is mindset, which is what we're talking about here, subconscious programming, that deeper stuff, manifesting, and the law of assumption approach in manifesting, but you can use the law of attraction if that works for you, and the mechanics of men, the actual step by step little things, the texting, the how we behave, which has a lot to do with the programming, but how we actually make it work with the man and how he views things, which is yin and yang, night and day, sun and rain, male and female. So let's get to Q&A. Post any questions you have in the chat, and you can do it whether you are on Instagram. I do not see, just so you know, I do not see Facebook comments or questions, but I do see on YouTube, and I do see tonight, it's right there, on Instagram. So if you have any questions, type now or forever hold your peace. Yes, I know there's a little delay, but I will see if you have any. Hi there. Good to see people in the chat tonight. Great. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you really think about it and take stock of how much you might be doing it, I have a question regarding a reply. Sure, shoot the question. You can't change anything for which you're not aware. So I did want to bring this to your awareness. And you can be using the alphabet to help you with your I am affirmations, because what you put after I am, you become. So even if all day tomorrow, like 6 times during the day, you remember to say, I am aware. I am aware of what I think about. I am aware of my automatic negative thoughts. I am, now we're going to the B, I am becoming aware. And we go to C. I am creating a life of more awareness. I am destined to be awake, alive, and aware. Every day, E, I focus on becoming aware. Yep. I focus, EF, I focus on the positive. I am getting to a high level of awareness and positivity in my life. That's a nice one. Put that up. I'm aware. Love that. Okay. On this evening's topic, I have been practicing this. Wonderful. Great. This is huge. Love hearing that. So, shoot your question, please. Yes. So, I know the situation you're talking about. I checked in with my guy here and that went well. Yay. Yay. I love it. Any question around that? Any question at all that you have about your relationship, dating? This, I like to present, take this time with you when I do lives to present a concept that may resonate with you. You might, like with anything else in life, you might like, didn't think it was going to be that tonight. Then you go away, and then maybe tomorrow, Sunday, next week, it's like, oh yeah, and think about it. That's what we want. He responded that he was not able to get the meds, but was hoping to feel better so we could get together this week. Great. Wonderful. I think there might be a question coming. All right, now I have some backstory. Tell me, this is with Opal, whose guy was sick and actually in the hospital. And that's interesting because, again, we are very different than men in this way. So we're sick, we're in the hospital, we're not feeling well. We tend to be, as women, tend to be pretty good with people checking on us, attending to us. Men, it depends. They more run the gamut. It can make men feel less manly, too vulnerable when they are sick, so they can go into their man cave. And if that's him, we have to let that be. We have to become aware of how he reacts and say, listen, I just want you to know, if you need anything, if you want anything, if you just want some TLC, I'm here. Otherwise, I'll take it that you prefer to be left alone. Let me know. Okay. He responded that he was not able to get the meds, but hoping to feel better so we can get together this week. He was unable to get out of bed. It was bad. Okay. Question? Any question? Yeah. Again, it can seem like he's pushing me away. He's not allowing me to do what I want for him, etc. No. We need, when someone's sick, no matter what that is, we need to give them what they want. And for some men, it is to be alone. You can just say, I am just a text away. He hearted my last message that I hoped he'd get the help needed and feel better soon so we could see each other next week. Okay. Should I write to him again? There's the question. So this was, I think it is a version of what I said. And say, hey, just wanted to let you know I'm thinking of you. Please know I'm here, and if there's anything I can do, I don't know that you can. Make sure the wording isn't, I'm checking on you. Don't use that wording. Words have power. Let's not use that. Thinking of you, babe, or thinking of you, hon, or whatever you call them. Just want you to know I'm here. If you are able to, I'm not sure that you are, because knowing your situation, that you could actually tangibly do anything for him. But you can say, no, I can't offer much, but if you just want to text, I'm here. If you need to talk, or not need, if you want to talk, I'm here. And I think because you said, I'm thinking of you, that's all. And you see if he answers. You can end it with, I know you probably need a lot of rest. So what you're saying is, I'm not expecting you to do anything. I know you need a lot of, I can imagine you need a lot of rest. You see how you just kind of craft it, and then you edit it down to the simplest form. So you're not asking him a question. So much better than asking a man the question, do you need anything? That's a question we would like. Men don't feel good with that. So just offer. If you know, like you are, you're close by, you make soup, you can get soup, you can cook, you can run to the pharmacy for him, whatever. Just offer it. Don't ask, offer it. I can bring you some soup. I'm happy to go to the pharmacy and pick up any medication you might need. Something like that. A statement. Because men don't, it's, think of it. What would I want? I would want to be checked on. I would want to be asked, what do you need? Something like that. So do the opposite. Because men don't take as well to those, and their fallback is, no, I'm strong, I'm a man, I don't need anything. I'll take care of it. I don't want to look weak, sickly, not strong, whatever. And it's just in everything they tend to do. It's why men actually don't go to the doctor like women do. Because they're actually, admitting something might be wrong. They don't want to do that. I'm a guy, I'm strong, nothing's wrong. So just even thinking about it, I've got to admit that something is wrong. And then typically, I don't know what it is, and to fix it, and I got to go to another, maybe man, or God forbid, woman, who will know more than I do, and that person will fix it. You see? Now, this doesn't make rational sense. And of course, men go to doctors and eventually whatever, but I'm talking about on average, that's the feeling. So we want to show, I know that you're okay. I'm offering because I care. One thing he wrote Wednesday at the end of his reply that I did not acknowledge is that he dreamt about me. Lovely. Yeah, I would not bring it up like to ask about it, but then you can say, I can imagine you need a lot of rest. I hope you have more sweet dreams, wink. Or more fun dreams, wink. If it was, depending if he alluded to what it was that he dreamt. Or I love having been in your dreams, so more sweet dreams to you and a kissy face. That's it. Any other questions during our Q&A? Yes, you're absolutely welcome. Yeah, it's just, we can always be true to ourselves and do what we want. We just have to fashion it so that it is taken in the right way. You know, as a social worker, I did a lot of grief counseling and supportive counseling for people who are going through very difficult, life-changing health situations, stuff like that. And one thing you learn is that how you do that with men and women, very different. So if a woman was sitting in front of me, and she's grieving, telling a sad story, being able to connect with her about that experience and emote is typically fine. I mean, you always test it out, but it's typically fine. Like, I am so sorry. Heartfelt, true. That is typically taken well by a woman. And she typically says, you know, thank you. Yes. And then more commiseration, right? For men, you have to be even more careful. You wouldn't emote that much. It would be, I'm sorry for you, John. How are you feeling? You see, it's more a matter of fact. And even you have to be careful with that, I'm sorry for. It has to be, I'm sorry for your loss, John. How are you doing? Because if you say I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. That coming towards the man can immediately be, no, that's fine. It's fine. I'm doing all right. They want to cut that off. Difference. So that's why we have to be a little more towards the, I know you can, I'm just here being myself, but not too much towards you by checking on you. If you need, if you want, let me know if, etc. You see the difference? Subtle, but they will feel better. You want to give the man the experience that most resonates with him. Okay? Any other question? Yes. Great. If you would, you got any value from today, those on Instagram, come on over to YouTube and please subscribe to me there. I am attempting to grow the channel, and it means the world to me for YouTube so that I can do this long form format. There's no other place that we can have these kinds of, I mean, there are, but really out there for you, and then you can come back to it and watch it. Give it a like if you do, because that in and of itself means a lot. If you don't, also, that, let me know. Let me know in comments. Comments help me a great deal as well, but let me know of more content of what you want. And you'll notice on my YouTube channel that anyone who asks a question, if it has anything to do with content that I can actually answer, I take the time, I go to my comments, and whenever possible, if it has anything to do with a topic about dating, relationships, love, men, all of it, I answer it. So you can absolutely do that. Over here on YouTube is the best place for that. And I appreciate your help. You are so welcome. Oh, thank you. This is a lovely comment. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I love all of you. And with that, again, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful night. With this, I'm going to love and leave you so that your man doesn't. And I will see you guys in the next video.